Hello, miscreants and vandals and hobos. It's me, Esh, and this is Esh Plays Banished. It is a town builder of sorts, and as you can see, we're in the new city options for making a new city, you dummy. Alright, so first thing we need to do is make a new town, and once we get in there, I'll start telling you how to play. As much as I know how to play, I've only played once, and it was decent. My town was decent. You can see it in the background actually a little bit. Anyway, so the name of the town, first of all, I think we should name it after something really awesome. Something that in life is just the best. Pizza, probably the best thing in life, but I don't think this is ready for pizza just yet. Nachos, also delicious. Nachoville is one of the staples of our games. But I'm thinking something a little bit less popular. Something that many may think is blasphemous, some sort of blasphemous Mexican food atrocity, but I think chimichangas are delicious. So should we call it Chimichanga, Chimichangaville, Chimichangaburg? I think Chimichanga is probably the best. So we got terrain type, valleys or mountains. I think valleys is good. Terrain size, small, medium, or large. Small. Climate, fair or harsh or mild. Fair. Disasters, I would rather them be off, but I think it would be more interesting if they're on. Starting conditions, easy, medium, or hard, and then down here it tells you about some of the stuff that you start with. Whether, you know, it says a moderate game begins with 5 families, clothing, food, firewood, tools, and construction materials are provided. A storage barn has already been built. Some seeds for fields and orchards are available. So you got some stuff to start with in this mode. So let's hit OK and get right in there. Loading screen, bitches. So basically you are a god. Okay, that's not part of the game, but I am pretending. I'm RPing right now as the god. And you control several families starting out. They've been banished, thus the title of the game, from some sort of Nazi city-state, I can only assume, because they've kicked out children. A 1-year-old, actually, that's already like 4 feet tall and can walk. Her name is Casa. She is a badass. Okay, so we've got a huge area. This is the small area. This is the small area, and we still have more room than the large area on something like SimCity. Looking at you, EA, you son of a bitch. Okay, so they're all milling around right now, doing nothing in particular, but Chimichanga is not going to grow without dedicated citizens to the new era. Now that they've been banished, they have to start over with all the stuff they brought with us. Somehow they brought all this stuff with them. I'm guessing they made the children carry it all. So we've got a storage barn full of like hide and tools and potatoes. We got 1,800 potatoes. That, my friends, is what they call a plethora of potatoes. In the stockpile you got wood, iron, logs, and stone to build things. And I think the first thing you want to do probably is go down to your tools. You got all sorts of tools down here. You got some basic tools. That you can go to this one. Is probably one of the most important ones. This is professions, right? Gonna drag it down here so we can see it. You got 10 laborers, which are people that aren't really assigned a specific job, right? And down here you can make each one specify to a certain job. So we got builders, farmers, herdsmen, gatherers, fishermen, hunters, woodcutters, foresters, herbalists, etc. All sorts of stuff. And builders and farmers are probably the most important right off the bat. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to make 4 of these people builders, 2 of them farmers, and we're going to go ahead and make some farms. Here is a food production thing. You can crop field. You can crop field it up. So let's decide where we want our fields. I think what we want to do is make this area right here our fields. It's right behind our storage areas. It sounds like a great idea to me. Let's make a 10 by 10, why not? 10 by 10 area, and then over here another 10 by 10 area. There we go. And they'll start clearing out the area and moving all the wood and stone to this stockpile, and then start doing the trees and stuff. Now, the farmers should concentrate then on planting seeds and harvesting stuff. And then the builders will build anything we build, which leads me to our next task of building some houses, I think. So you click on the House and Housing tab here. You got 3 options. You got wooden house, stone house, and boarding house. Now the boarding house is for like people who don't have a specific home. They can all stay there. And then a wooden house is actually house families. Stone house provides place for citizens to live, eat, store food, and stay warm. Provides more warmth than wooden homes. But it's cheap. It's much more expensive than wooden homes, so we're going to start with wooden homes. So we want to decide where we're going to build our little city area, the suburb, the place where we're going to put all of our houses. And I think we're not going to waste the waterfront right here. I think we're going to use that for something else. I think we're just going to put a nice citizen district over here, maybe. What do you guys think? Maybe we should put them by the water. Nice waterfront property situation. Nah. Not for these scrubs. Okay, so let's put a little area. Let's first of all, actually, I recommend using your roads quite a bit. They, the dirt road doesn't cost anything, and it makes the citizens move faster when they walk over it. And it's instantly built. It doesn't require any build time. It's instantly there when you place it. It's really handy for planning out your city as well. Put roads between everything so they can get around a little bit faster. Actually, it does look like they're building it, doesn't it? Maybe they do have to build it. Yeah, it looks like it's a little bit like of a... you can't see it quite as well when it's not built, but it doesn't take very long at all. They're just chopping up wood, or chopping up the roads. Okay, so let's make a straight line like this. So we have a little bit of like a place to work from. Now let's go ahead and go to the... let's see, where is it? The removal and destruction tools. Not aptly named, really. What it does is it lets you harvest stuff. So if I go to the harvest trees selector tool and I go ahead and just select this entire area, it's going to put a red mark over every tree, and that's going to mark each of those trees for harvesting. Then we go to the collect stone option and do the same thing. It's going to mark all of the stones in red. It's going to remove all those. And then if you go to the collect iron tool and do the same thing, it's going to collect any iron in the area with a red mark. It's got X's on all these, like Fern Gully up in this bitch. And they're going to chop them all down, mine them all up, collect them all. It's going to be the best. And now we have actually a farm to work on. Now that we have these little things here, it means we can select what we want to plant. We have different options. We got potatoes and wheat. I think we're going to go with potatoes on one, wheat on the other. Perfect. Now, what it's going to do is it says no citizens are available to work at this location. And that's because the farmers are out doing this random shit, but once they're done, they're going to come back and start planting the seeds of despair, and also the seeds of wheat and potatoes. Once they get going, it shouldn't take very long to get it planted and stuff, and we'll have ourselves some farms, some sustainable food sources, which are very important because the idea is winter will come and people will perish if you're not ready for the winter. Now, if we go to this button again, the little gear, we can make it show general statistic about the town, which is a really nice thing to have. So we're going to keep this up. It won't go down unless we exit out. So we'll just keep this up. It'll tell us what months we're in. Spring 1, current season, and the number of years. Okay, so this is our first year, and we're in the spring seasons. And it'll go through them, obviously, and we want to get enough stuff ready for winter that our civilians have places to live, food to survive on, stockpiled stuff like that, so they can survive through the months. And it also tells us the weather and the temperature, other things, number of adult students and children, all sorts of stuff, which comes back to the various things we can build. So I'll show you guys this while they're working on clearing this area for our housing, and while they're getting back to the farming. We have a little bit of time. We can go ahead and go through the stuff. So we got houses. We've already looked at all this stuff. We found the gear, which we haven't looked at all of it, but a lot of this stuff is going to be stuff we look at later. We got an event log, which shows us what's happening. We might as well keep this down here where the chat box would normally be. We got an overhead map, which we can put in this corner, just like an MMO, bitch. We've got assigned jobs thing, which I've already looked at. This is a really important panel, so keep an eye on this. You've got shows limits on placed resources, which you select, and it shows you various things on the limits that we can hold with our current storage situation. So we can hold 5K of this, and we can also switch this around so we have more room for other things. So if we don't want logs and we want a ton of stone, we could change the logs to 100, and we should have room for more stone. And then we have a pretty important thing, which is increased priority. So, for instance, if we really wanted them to build the farms, but they're still over here mining rocks and stuff, we could click on the priority thing and do that, and then select it, and it would make it increase priority, just like we just did. So that patch should now be the highest on priorities. Now we've got also paths, which is really my favorite tool in the whole game. It's not because it's super important or anything, it's just something I really like, and we can't really do anything with it yet, but what it would do is if we had a house with a family in it, we could click on the house and it would show where the family goes to work. So the house would be of builders, they would go to the next building job, it would show a line to it. If they're farmers, it would show a line to the farm from the house, the path that they would use to get there. At first, it's not going to be super important, but later on, if we want, we can show what roads they use and then make sure that that road is upgraded to like the best road so that they can get there back and forth faster. It's really a cool tool. And then we've got a save camera location for fast navigation to important town locations. So I can set it here, and okay, set number 1 here. Like so, boom. Then I can go down here, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know how to use that, but let's ignore that and pretend that I didn't even show it to you. And then we got the housing, which we showed already. We got the road options, which actually shows dirt road, stone road, bridges, and tunnels, which are going to come in handy later. Then we got a storage, markets, and trade button for storage barn, which is this thing. You got a stockpile area, which is this thing. You've got a market for trading and stuff. It says used to provide a localized area for citizens to collect food, tools, and fuel. This is probably very important if you have a larger town so that people are really far away from your stockpiles. They can just go to the market. Then you've got a trading post, which allows the trade of resources with merchants, which I'm sure will come to town whenever we're a little bit bigger. Then you got town services tab, which we can put a well down, a school down, a hospital down, a town hall down, a chapel down, and a cemetery down. And each of these things does something good, obviously. The well provides water for putting out fires. What is this? Storage for logs, stone, and iron is near capacity. So, this gives us a perfect chance to do something productive. Let's put down another stockpile of the same size right next to our current one. Perfect. Then we can put down a road that surrounds it. Boom. Looking good. Alright, now we can go back to our descriptions. The school will educate the citizens, which makes them more productive. The hospital heals diseases. The town hall records and shows census data, which I'm sure will be critical later on. The chapel provides happiness for the devout and place meet and worship, so that'll keep people happy. And then the cemetery makes it so that they don't become too sad when their elders die, because as you can probably tell, the citizens age. They all start fairly young. You never have people above the teenage years at the start, but then they start aging and they have babies, and those babies start aging. It's pretty awesome, but eventually, naturally, the people that get older and older are going to die. and you don't want them getting all depressed and like doing something rash, not including getting a rash, which is also awful. The next tab is your food production tab, which is how we planted those farms, which is the crop field, orchard, pasture, fishing dock, hunting cabin, and gatherer's hut. So these are all buildings that we can build, or little facilities like these farms that we can make, and they will produce certain things for us. And then the resource production, which are also buildings, woodcutter, forest lodge, herbalist, blacksmith, tailor, tavern, mine, and quarry. You can all be placed and they will produce things. I get it. Don't have enough room. We're working on it. And then we've got removal and destruction tools, which we used earlier to clear land. Removal of anything in the selected area. Removal of structures, which is how you're going to cancel buildings that you've decided to build, but then change your mind with. And then we've got the tree, the stone, and the iron, like we showed earlier. And then we've got also the road removal tool as well as a cancel removal, which will cancel the removal, as you might suspect from its name. So it's raining now. Let's get back to what the villagers are doing. They should be putting this up. Look at this. Look at this wheat field. Holy shit, it's going great. Now we can harvest right now and get a 25% yield, or we can wait until it fills up all the way to 100%, and then they should, I think, automatically farm or harvest the field anyway. So we want to just wait it out. Might as well just wait it out. I'm looking at these buttons. There's not a toggle pinning window, so that... Okay, so that does work, actually. So let's go ahead and look for what... Look at the cleared area here. It's taking them a long time to actually get this area cleared. So what we're going to do, actually, is we're going to go to the houses thing. We're going to give them this thing. We're going to give them a boarding house. I think we're going to give it a little bit of a berth, though. Actually, let's go ahead and I've got a plan here. Stockpile, where is that at again? There it is. How big is this? This is 4x6. I think that's what it is. So if we put another 4x6 here, that would make the road here. Oops. Let's try to remember that. Let's see. Let's just go up 6, 7. What? Oh, it's a stockpile still. There we go. So this would be 8 long. So if we go another 8 from there, and then put the road across this, that would be the perfect size for another stockpile. And then we can just put the boarding house here. We're going to make it as close as where we want it as possible. Let's go ahead and rotate with our E key. You can circle around like that. That's pretty awesome. Alright, it was going to be right here. Right there, I think. Actually, let's go to the roads thing and let's make sure we're getting it right. So the road would be like this. Now let's go back and hit this bad boy. Let's put this son of a bitch up. Right there. So they're going to start building that at some point, I'm sure. Let's circle back around to our normal view. There we go. Nice view here. Perfect. So they're still working. At least they're being productive. The wheat fields are looking immaculate. So what is this person? This person is a builder. So they're building the roads. They're also going to start building this house hopefully soon. What happens is they'll bring the stuff over to this. So the logs, it needs 100 logs, 45 stone. It'll bring it over and fill these up. Once they say 100 of 145 of 45, it will then start building. And this thing shows how long it's going to take to build. It needs, quote-unquote, 150 building points, I don't know. And then it also shows a basic completion chart down here. It says the number of citizens working at this location is 4 of 4. So that means all 4 of our builders are going to be focused on building this house once they finish the road around it. Which is actually fan-fucking-tastic.